Hey, what's up? It's Justin and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to start with a question. If you could play for any band, who would it be? Alright, now before you all start saying Coldplay, Led Zeppelin, and everything like that, let's put one guardrail on it. It has to be a realistic band. And by that I mean a band that you feel you would actually be a fit for and have a real chance at being in. For me, that band was Echosmith. Their hit song Cool Kids dropped during my sophomore year of college, and that song was literally everywhere. You turn on the radio, Cool Kids. You walk to the grocery store, Cool Kids. You turn on the TV, Cool Kids. Echosmith literally became the cool kids they were singing about. The band was from Los Angeles, they were all Christians, and their style of music was really similar to my style of guitar playing. I even thought I kind of looked like one of their siblings. Well, as it would turn out, in 2016, the year after I graduated from USC, they were looking to hire a guitarist. It was the ultimate gig, and I was pretty positive it would be my ticket. But as a fresh graduate from the University of Southern California with literally zero experience, I'm not sure why I thought getting the top gig in alternative music would be so attainable for myself. Not super realistic. Interestingly enough, I ended up meeting the guitarist they did end up hiring, and I played with him a few times at my church. So I did my strategy. I asked him if he would get coffee with me and tell me about how he got involved there, and he told me it was a little bit through word of mouth and also kind of an audition process. And I was honestly a little bit bummed because he was a great guitarist and he was a great fit there, so the only way I was getting that gig is if he decided to basically retire or move on to something else. Some time passes and that guitarist decides, you know what, it's time to hand off the baton, and I knew it wasn't going to be me because he and I weren't super close, but they did end up hiring someone sort of similar to me, at least in look. He was the same age, the same vibe, and we knew a bunch of people in common again, and I felt like, man, I am so close. Maybe if there's a way to meet this guy, I'll have a shot when this one inevitably moves on to the next thing. Like Rick Warren says, sometimes you gotta do a God's blessing and just kind of ride that wave. So I took that wave and it led me even deeper into the church world and the music direction world. I randomly got hit up to play at a church out in Wildomar by a worship pastor, and he seemed nice and the church seemed cool, so I figured, even though it's far, I'll check it out. And it ended up being a great thing. They needed a music director and ended up hiring me, and I was out there for, I don't know, a good 6 or so months. Met some really incredible people, and I grew so much in my skill set as a music director. So one day after church, this sweet couple comes up to me after the service and said, oh, we just wanted to tell you how much we enjoyed the music and your guitar playing, and we just wanted to let you know that you remind us so much of our son. And it seemed like a really sweet and genuine compliment, and I just remember asking them like, oh wow, what does your son do? And they said he also plays in bands, and I was like, which band? And they said, oh, this band called Echosmith. And I was like, no way, is your son so-and-so? And they were like, yeah, do you know him? And I was like, no, I don't know him, but I know of him. That's one of my dream gigs. Hopefully we'll meet at some point. And she was like, oh my gosh, you should just message him because you two definitely should meet and connect. So I sent him a message, and I'm not sure that he even responded. A few months go by, and a different guy at church who's emceeing this artist named Lanachka asked me if I can play guitar and a little bit of keys for her at this one-off show. It was one of those themed nights at the Peppermint Club, kind of like indie girl pop night, something like that. We were the first artists of like 4 or 5 on the bill. So I pull up and I'm loading in, and you'll never guess who's there. Echosmith. Kidding. But it was the guitar player from Echosmith. So once he was done sound checking and we're all in the green room, I went up to him and introduced myself and told him what happened with his parents, and he was laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds exactly like my parents. He was super friendly, insanely talented, let me borrow his Kemper that night, which was good because I didn't bring an amp. So we exchanged numbers, and that was kind of that. Then probably another month or 2 later, he texted me out of the blue and was like, hey, I'm going on this tour and I need someone to cover my church gig. Are you interested? And I said yes, and then eventually I just kept playing there and we were playing together. We developed a friendship, and I did my thing again. I said, hey, can we grab coffee sometime? I want to hear about how you got doing what you're doing. And he gave me good words of advice, and then that was kind of that again. Fast forward another 2 years to 2022, and I had completely given up on this dream of playing for Echosmith. I was just concerned with playing for whoever will hire me to play guitar and help me pay my bills. Then one day out of the blue, I have a different friend text me saying, hey, I got offered the Echosmith gig, but I can't do it. So I'm gonna try and get them to hire you instead. And I said, oh wow, well that would be cool if it worked out. I appreciate you thinking of me, and I didn't think anything would happen, and I just moved on with my life. A week later I get a text and it's from an unknown number, and sure enough, it says, hey, this is Noah from Echosmith. I got your number from blah blah blah. He said you might be available to play guitar. We're looking for a guitarist to do this one-off show coming up in Wyoming. Are you interested? And I was like, of course I'm interested. No, I didn't do that. I was cool, and I said, yeah, I would love to know more about it, and thanks for reaching out. And I immediately called my wife and my mom, and I was like, whoa, I think I might get to play for Echosmith after all these years. So Noah and I talk on the phone, and we're talking about music and gear, life, and Disneyland, you know, all the usual things. And the way we kind of ended on the phone, it sort of sounded like this gig was mine if I wanted it. But it's never really official until you're on the plane. So I waited until he sent me the set list with the material, and then I was like, whoa, this is finally happening. I'm playing with Echosmith. I had 15 songs to learn and program in about a month, which was actually really nice. That's plenty of time to do that. I went to town on this thing like no other gig before. This was also an interesting gig because there was no rehearsal, so I was gonna fly to Wyoming, having never met them in person, and just show up, plug in, and play the gig. So since this was kind of my one chance to play with a dream band, if you will, I was like, well, I gotta know this stuff inside and out. Like, I can't leave this saying if I had only practiced a little more, I'd only rehearsed a little more. And you know, despite feeling an immense amount of pressure, not even from them at all, it was just from me and myself and being like, this is it, I have to do well. The gig actually went really well. A couple of you who watch my YouTube channel were there and you recognized me, so if you end up seeing this video, hey, I was so cool to like meet you guys after the show. But anyway, the band seemed happy with it, and they actually asked me to do a week-long tour in Europe. They were playing a few USO shows, and then I got COVID the day before we were supposed to fly out, and I didn't get to go, and I haven't played with them since. So I might have just ended up being a one-time thing, but I'm really grateful I got the opportunity to play for them. Was it a lot of work for one show? Absolutely, but it was completely worth it. I've never had more fun on a gig. Those kids really are the cool kids. They were so nice and welcoming, and it was just a blast. I can't remember the last time I had that much fun on a gig. And that's basically how I got to play with Echosmith. If you're new to the channel, I would love it if you subscribe, join this community. Also, let me know if you enjoyed this new format of video with the stories. I have a lot to tell, so I hope it was enjoyable for you. Drop a like and comment down below who your dream band to play with is, and if you got to achieve it or just not yet. Catch you next time.